Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about food cravings. You know, those food cravings, that deep desire to eat something that you just have to have and it won't go away until you eat that one thing. Well, that's actually your body's way of trying to tell you something's wrong. Today we're going to learn about what that something is. Food cravings can drive us crazy at times. We've all been in that situation where we get that craving for something, a specific food, and it literally gets us off the couch to go eat it, or gets us in our car to drive down to find a piece of chocolate at the store. And it can be really frustrating sometimes. So let's talk about what actually is causing your food cravings. The biggest thing, the number one thing that I talk about all the time is a monotonous diet. Eating the same thing over and over again, not having a variety in the foods that you're eating. That causes nutritional deficiencies, and that is pretty high on the chart of what is causing your food cravings. Usually you're having some type of nutritional deficiency. Now, other things can cause food cravings too. For example, a type of bacteria called Candida. Some of you know this if you've had a yeast infection before, or thrush. That is Candida getting out of balance, and Candida feeds off of sugar, and that can cause you to have sugar cravings. Another thing can be parasites. Now, a lot of us don't want to admit or even think that there might actually be worms living in our gut, but there is. A lot of people have them. You know, we deworm our animals, but we don't deworm ourselves, and we can pick up parasites everywhere. The world is full of them. So parasites can cause you to have cravings as well. Okay, now that we know some of the causes of cravings, let's get into the actual cravings itself. So sugar, if you're having a sugar craving, which most people, this is the number one craving for them, is sugar. It could be that you are dehydrated. Now, your brain needs water. It needs lots of water. There's a lot of electricity happening in the brain because your nervous system needs to process all those synapses and all the things that are firing off, the hormones, everything that fires off all the time. So your brain needs a lot of water. It also needs a lot of glucose. So if you are dehydrated and your brain doesn't get that water like it needs to run, the next thing it's going to crave is glucose, which is sugar. So if you're having a sugar craving, go drink a big glass of water and see if that takes care of it. Now, the other thing we talked about, Candida. Candida can cause massive sugar cravings and carbohydrate cravings in general because the Candida feed off of sugars. That's what helps them grow and proliferate. So you could just be feeding your Candida if you're having a sugar craving. Also, parasites too, they need sugar, they need glucose, so they will make you crave sugar as well. Now, another big craving, the second biggest craving, is salt. People that crave salt, that could be an indication of adrenal insufficiency. Now, adrenals need sodium to process, and adrenals pump out your sex hormones as well as your stress hormones. So if you've been under a lot of stress and you're craving salt, it could be that your adrenals need support. It could also be that you have a chloride deficiency, just a deficiency in sodium or chloride in salt in general. So we want to listen to those signals. Are you craving fried foods, deep fried foods, or fatty foods? That is actually the indication that you need more fats. And I'm not talking about deep fried foods, right? I'm talking about actual fatty acids that come in fish, that come in nuts and seeds, olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil. Those are all healthy fats for your body. And if you're craving fatty foods or fried foods, that means you're not getting enough of those good healthy fats into your diet. Red meat. Most people know when you crave red meat, it means that your blood is lacking in iron and you are maybe experiencing some anemia, which is iron deficiency. So if you're craving red meat, think about your blood quality. You need more iron. I have a great supplement that I use down here called Floridex to help build the blood with iron, and it works great. But also eating red meat helps with that. Carbonated drinks. How many of you need to have something carbonated? I hear it all the time, you need that fizziness, or just the water doesn't taste good, right? You need carbonation. That can be an indication that you have low stomach acid. Low stomach acid, you will crave that carbonation and that fizz. Some reason in your body you need that carbonation or fizz, it's because your stomach acid is low. Also, you could be craving or needing phosphorus. Phosphorus is found in meats, but they also put it in soda. Usually it's in Coke or Pepsi, in a cola product. That could be a phosphorus. And also you could be just generally, if you're craving carbonation, it could be that you have a calcium deficiency. So you might want to look at your supplements and see if you're getting enough calcium. Now, calcium, a lot of people think that you're getting calcium from dairy, and you are getting some calcium from dairy, but also what can happen is you end up raising the acidity level in your blood with eating the dairy product, because dairy is acidic in nature. And then your body leaches calcium out of your bones to keep the blood neutral. So dairy isn't a real great way to get your calcium, because it's kind of defeating the purpose. It's going to raise your acidity level in your blood, and then you have to take calcium from your bones anyways. So dairy isn't a great way, but you can get it through leafy greens, broccoli, onions, spinach, kale, all high in calcium, okay? Crunchy foods. Do you crave crunch? You just need a crunch. That can be an indication that you're not chewing your food enough, okay? I tell everybody, slow down and chew your food thoroughly. You're giving yourselves 5-minute lunch breaks and you're chomping down way too fast, and then your brain is not satiated enough with that chewing. That chewing is very important in the digestive process. So you should be chewing each bite at least 30 times at least. I say on the upper end of 40 to 60 times, but at least 30 each bite. It can lead to frustration in your brain, which makes you crave more crunchy things if you're not chewing enough. Creamy foods. If you crave creamy foods, or like vanilla foods, or like tapioca pudding, or like vanilla wafers, something kind of rich and creamy, cream cheese. And then if you also crave spicy foods, like a perfect example would be like a pan of enchiladas. If that sounds really good to you, then you might have issues with your ovaries or testicles. That can be a hormonal challenge. So if you're having those cravings for that spicy or creamy foods, I just think of like enchiladas with sour cream on top. That can be, and especially if you crave it around your time of the month, that could be an indication that your ovaries need supported. Bread. Bread is a big one. Lots of people crave bread, and bread can be a couple of different things. It can be that you're feeding candida, like we talked about before, because bread turns straight to glucose in the body. So you could be feeding your candida or parasites, but it also could be a lack of nitrogen, okay? And so you need to eat more protein, nuts, and beans to get more nitrogen in. Burned foods, people that crave burned foods, or that like their toast really burnt, or people that like the burned pieces of bacon, could be a carbon deficiency, and you can get carbon from fresh fruit. Also, if you have parasites, you can crave burned foods as well. Cold drinks. I can't tell you how many times people say they won't drink water unless it's iced because they need it cold. This could be a manganese deficiency. It could also mean that you, in Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine, that you have too much internal heat. There's too much heat. You've been eating too many foods to cause your body to develop this internal heat, right? And those are like spicy foods, or fried foods, or acidic foods in nature, not healthy, fresh, clean fruits and vegetables and whole foods. That can all cause that internal heat, which makes you crave cold drinks. And the manganese too, you could be deficient in manganese, which manganese is really important for the synthesis of carbohydrates and proteins. and it also is needed for bone repair. So manganese is really important to rule that out. You can get that from like walnuts, pecans, blueberries, almonds. And then chewing ice. If you chew ice or you like to chew ice, I see a lot of little kids that like to chew ice, and it makes me go like that. But chewing ice can also be an iron deficiency, like we talk about with the red meat. Chewing ice can also indicate that there's some issues with blood quality. Okay, so pickles or fermented foods, right? Yogurt, pickles. If you're craving that sour taste that you need, that can indicate that you need fermented foods. Okay, it makes sense because a lot of times pregnant women get that hankering for a pickle or that craving for pickles, and they're really just craving more probiotics. You need more foods that are naturally fermented. You need more probiotics in your diet, and probiotics help boost your immune system. So it makes sense that pregnant women would want to have a really strong immune system to protect themselves and their babies. Okay, you guys, that was a lot, and I'm sure some of you can relate to one of those food cravings, if not several of them. So if you think that you're having these food cravings, you think it might be a deficiency, you're not sure if it's a parasite or maybe it's candida, please call and make an appointment because I can quickly figure out which one it could be. And we have lots of supplements to help either fill your nutritional gaps and fill your deficiencies, or kill candida and parasites. So there's lots of stuff we can do. I'm happy to help. Just give us a call at the Family Holistic. And in the meantime, listen to your body's messages because your body's always trying to tell you something. Okay, you guys, that's all for today. Please hit subscribe to our channel if you haven't done that yet, and hit the like button because that's how I know what videos you guys like. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and we'll see you for the next video.